Hi, and welcome to the X22 Report Spotlight. Today we return a guest, Kim Bright. Kim is the founder of Brightcore. She's been helping Americans get healthy for over 50 years, and I am very happy and honored to have Kim back on. Kim, welcome back to the Spotlight.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate you having me back.
Hey, thanks for coming on, and thanks for keeping people healthy for over 50 years, because we could see at this point in time, this is what RFK Jr. is doing. He's now changing everything that we've known about health. And what's very interesting, a lot of people right now, and I think since the beginning of the year, usually after the New Year's, people like to lose weight, and the summer's coming, spring is here, and people, like to trim down, get ready for the summer months. And a lot of people have been turning towards drugs to do this. And I
Yeah.
think what people have noticed is that maybe this is not the way to go. And I remember going back in time where, remember there was like Dexatrim and all these other type of pills that said they were going to make you lose weight. And I think when you
Yeah.
have some type of like drug that you don't know about and it's put together, you don't know the long-term effects of it. And I think right now, I think what people are doing is they're trying to find some way of losing the weight, keeping the weight off. This whole Ozempic thing and all that, I think they're running into problems.
I agree with you. I mean, Dave, there's 31 million Americans that are taking GLP-1 medications. And the GLP-1s are the weight loss drugs, like you mentioned, Ozempic and
Yeah.
Wegovy. And just in the past couple months, the number of lawsuits against these drug makers has increased dramatically to around 4,400 total lawsuits. That's only in the United States. And what these lawsuits are primarily focused on, they're focusing on the gastrointestinal issues as an unlabeled side effect of the drug, and they're including a wide variety of increasingly concerning health concerns, ranging from vision loss to organ failure and even death. I mean, have you seen what they're calling now Ozempic face?
Yes, I've noticed it, and I also noticed that when people take it, their body shrinks, but their head stays the same,
Well,
and
yeah,
it looks odd.
it looks very odd.
Yeah.
And the actual face, the Ozempic face, what is going on here is it's caused by rapid, significant weight loss from the GLP-1 medications, which causes the fat to vanish quickly from the face. It's like they suck all the fat out of the
Yeah.
face. And this sudden depletion, it's leaving their skin with reduced elasticity. Then their skin sags. They get hollowed out cheeks. They get sunken eyes. The wrinkles become intensified. And because the skin can't shrink as fast as the fat's disappearing, this is the Ozempic phase. And this is one of their least worries if you happen to be taking one of these drugs, y'all, because at the beginning of this year, in January, there were already 2,000 lawsuits pending against GLP-1 drug makers. And that number, as I said earlier, it's more than doubled. Now, also, it's not only causing the Ozempic phase, but it's causing sudden vision loss, stomach paralysis, and complete organ failure. And now it's even being linked to mood and psychological disorders like anxiety, depression, hair loss, especially in women. They're losing their hair, pancreatic inflammation, and something even called Ozempic breath, which is a term they're using to describe the foul smelling breath people are having, a metallic taste, and a fishy smelling burp, which is being increasingly reported by the people that are using these drugs.
Yeah, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Ozempic was actually used for people that had diabetes, and then they realized that it could be used as weight loss. So again, I don't know how much testing has gone into this, but I feel like they just keep repackaging the same drugs over and over and over.
Well, they definitely are using drugs to try and do just about anything, any malady that comes up in the body. And I know Ozempic was originally designed to be a diabetes type 2 drug.
Yeah.
But yeah, they saw how much the weight loss was, and all of a sudden, whoop, let's make it a weight loss drug. And there was this man in Maryland, Todd Engel.
Hmm.
He's now speaking out about his experience with this drug after suddenly going blind in both eyes. Now, what he claims is the makers of Ozempic failed to warn patients about the potential risks. And back in 2023, he was a truck driver. And at that time, his doctor prescribed him Ozempic for his type 2 diabetes. And that same year, he has a stroke. He loses vision in his right eye. But he keeps taking this drug because he was unaware of the connection. Of course, the doctor didn't get him off of it either. But then he lost vision in his other eye after another 10 months of using the drug. And now he's legally blind. So, of course, he can't drive a truck anymore. He has to leave
Right.
his job, which he loved. And now his wife is totally having to take care of him with everything now. And he's a grandfather on top of it. And he can't even see his grandchildren's faces, which breaks my heart. And it's very heartbreaking to me too to hear how he'll go into a store and his 7-year-old granddaughter will take him by the hand and say, "This way, Pop." And she just kind of pulls him along like a little puppy dog. And he said he's grateful for the compassion that his young grandchildren they're showing him, but he finds that he's very embarrassed about his disability because he was a very independent man all of his adult life.
Yeah, and again, these type of drugs, they have a lot of different side effects. I mean, we're learning that about the COVID vaccine now,
Hmm.
many of the other drugs, and sometimes you have to wait a couple of years before you find out what the true side effects are because they really don't know what the side effects are, and it's kind of
No,
scary.
it's very scary, and sometimes it's not even a couple years; it's decades.
Yeah,
It's just it's it's not. I don't think it's a good answer, but some people want instant results. But there's another victim, Juanita Gantz, and this lady at age 82, she always struggled with her weight, and she weighed 242 pounds. And the most that she could lose when she was trying all these other diets was about 20 pounds.
Hmm.
So she jumped on the wagon and started using Wegovy, and then she switched to Ozempic. And both these GLP-1 drugs are made by Novo Nordisk. And several months later, her husband comes home and finds her unconscious on the floor.
Oh wow.
Now, she goes to the hospital, and the doctors open her up, and they find that parts of her large intestine had actually died and it had to be removed. And now, while she's recovering from the surgery, she goes into cardiac arrest. Now, she wasn't warned of any of these side effects, these potential side effects of the drugs. And she totally regrets now, deeply regrets about ever having taken them.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, I'd never even heard of like GLP-1s until Ozempic. I mean, I don't even know how long they've been out. I mean, that because that's the first time I ever heard of it, and I don't think anyone else has really heard of them.
Yeah, I think they're really moving them along really fast since like 2017. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's sad because there's even instances, Dave, of sudden death. There was a guy, Rob Briggs, and he was perfectly fine. And then he dies within hours of catastrophic internal bleeding. Now, they were able to resuscitate him, but he was left permanently brain dead. So his wife had to make the difficult decision to pull him off life support. And that's just such a sad story. And that didn't take very long to happen. Another woman, Marcia Eddinghoff, had been taking Ozempic for only 6 months before she developed severe nausea and persistent vomiting. And then in a few days, she choked on her vomit and died.
Hmm.
I mean, this is bizarre stuff we're talking
Yeah.
about here. And the FDA has even accused Novo Nordisk of failing to properly report how many cases of serious side effects, even deaths, are associated with the drugs. A lot of times they don't report these things. And then another layer of concern is that these side effects, such as severe fatigue, cramps, diarrhea, vomiting, they're sometimes masking early signs of a more serious illness like cancer, and
Mhm.
in some cases, delaying diagnosis and treatment until it's too late.
And what's interesting about the news, and I call it the fake news, is they really don't like to report on a lot of this information because a lot of their sponsors are big pharma companies. So
Right.
they're not going to go out of their way saying, "Hey, by the way, this is the side effects, and this is what happens when you take these drugs, and this is why you never hear about these stories." They kind of keep them, under the rug, and they make sure that nobody hears about them. So this way, you just continually take the drug. And I think people are starting to wake up to that fact right now that the news is never going to tell you the truth about any of the drugs or what's going on in the world. And from all these different cases, you could see that the GLP-1, the Ozempic, it's really not doing what they say it's doing there, especially if there's all these side effects. It's just a very damaging to the body.
Yeah, and people have to change their mindset. There
Yes,
is
I
no
agree.
magic pill. There is
Right.
no, instantaneous, I look like I'm 26 again and wear a bikini. You can't, you have to adjust your mindset to reality. And reality is you've got to change your diet, you've got to change your approach, and there's a natural way to do it, and it's far better, I think, than what we're talking about here. And for most of human history, weight was treated like a moral problem. People said, well, just eat less or move more or try harder or fail quietly.
Right.
But we actually have buried deep inside our body, there's a chemical system that controls our hunger, our blood sugar, our fullness. And it's a hidden messaging network between the intestine, the brain, and the pancreas. And scientists called part of it GLP-1, uh, glucagon-like peptide 1. So let's talk about how this drug actually works in our
Yeah.
body.
I don't think
So
people understand how it works. That's the whole thing that you just take it and they think it's just like magic.
yeah, no, what happens is it's released after we eat, and it tells the pancreas to release insulin, and it slows down the emptying of the stomach, really slows it down. So then it sends signals of fullness towards the brain. So in other words, the GLP-1 is whispering to your body, you've had enough. So that's how it started. But then along comes the Gila monster. Now, this is a lizard that lives in the Southwest desert, and it kind of looks like a mix between a bearded dragon and a Komodo dragon.
Mhm.
And it's got bright yellow spots and a forked tongue. It's not a pretty sight, very devilish looking. But these guys, they have an extremely slow metabolism. They actually can do fine with just 2 to 4 meals a year. So in the 1990s, they're looking at this, scientists, and they're discovering a specific protein in the Gila monster's venom, which potentiates the effects of insulin. And that compound was called extendin 4. Now, that was isolated by Dr. John Eng in 1992. And unlike our human GLP-1, it didn't vanish in minutes. It actually lingers a long time. So it just kept working, and it could lower blood sugar in diabetic mice for hours. A hormone the body could barely preserve had a more durable cousin hiding in this Gila monster venom. Now, the first major drug that emerged from this path was exactintide. Now, this was approved by FDA in 2005 for type 2 diabetes specific, proving that targeting the GLP-1 receptor could actually work as a therapy. But after that, we have a race. The race begins. The pharmaceutical companies did what pharmaceutical companies do best. They optimize their ability to make lots of money.
Mhm.
So they extend duration. They change delivery. They made the molecules last longer to act smoother, fit more easily into your modern day life. Daily injections became weekly injections, and the GLP-1 went from a strange gut hormone to a commercial empire.
Well, again, the reason the big pharma has to do this is because they have to patent the drug and they have to
Yeah.
make it their own. So this way they can sell it and make a lot of money. And the other thing that I've seen, and because I know a couple of people that are taking Ozempic, is that you can really never get off of it. Once you start taking it and you continue to take it, you lose weight. As soon as you go off of the drug, you gain that weight back, which is unbelievable because that means you can never stop taking the drug. You'll be on it for the rest of your life. And then, of course, you have the side effects and, you're going to have medical ailments down the line and things like that. So it seems like they kind of trapped you in all of this.
Well, that's what drugs generally do.
Yeah.
You get on that hamster wheel, and you're on the hamster wheel. But I wanted to say too, in 2017, the FDA approved injectable semaglutide under the brand name of Ozempic for adults with type 2 diabetes. And at first, this wasn't marketed as the cultural phenomenon that we know today. It was a type 2 diabetes drug
Hmm.
specific. So this is a serious medicine for a serious metabolic disease. But then, of course, something else was happening in the clinical data. People weren't just improving their blood sugar, they were losing the weight, as we talked about earlier, and they were losing a lot of weight. And once that door opened, Pandora's box, it didn't close. Now, in 2021, the FDA approves a higher dose semaglutide injection called Wegovy for chronic weight management. And the agency described it as the first new drug treatment that was approved for chronic weight management since 2014. So here we have suddenly a medicine designed around blood sugar became for weight loss, as we
Right.
talked about earlier. So these GLP drugs function again by slowing down your metabolism and your digestive process. That's why stomach paralysis is so common, because sometimes it slows your digestion down so much that it actually stops working completely. And it essentially what it does is it forces you to go on a starvation diet, leading then to malnutrition, which then plays the big role in the rapid aging and your hair loss and your deep wrinkles and even worsening depression. So it's like when your body is dehydrated. It's so important. Dave, I don't know if people really realize how important it is to hydrate your body every day and keep it hydrated. We can go 5 minutes without air. That's number one. But water's number two, even before food. If you don't keep your body hydrated, your cells, your tissues, they can't send the electric signals, just like a car battery. When it runs out of water, the car doesn't start. So it's the same thing in our body. So, and it can also be like a sponge. You have this dried up sponge that then you're using trying to clean with. It can't do its job. So if we don't keep enough water in our body and our cells and our tissues, our body does not function. So that's really, really important to pay attention and make sure that you're hydrated. Now, humans are not meant to survive off 5 meals a year like the Gila monster. This form of weight loss is causing you to lose more muscle than fat. And, I'm 71 right now. And so I know the importance of maintaining your health while dieting to lose weight. And when you're losing weight in a healthy way, 3/4 of your weight loss should be from fat mass loss. If you lose 20 pounds, 15 pounds should be fat, and 5 pounds should be lean muscle mass. But when they put patients on these drugs, they do DEXA scans before and after. And this is something the FDA did not require the drug makers to do when they were getting the drugs approved. Now, a DEXA scan, for those that don't know what that is, it's an advanced body composition test that measures body fat, muscle mass, bone density, and visceral fat. That's the fat that's around your organs. It's very dangerous fat. So, unlike a regular scale that only shows total weight, a DEXA scan actually gives you a detailed breakdown of what your body is actually made of right then and there. And it makes such a more accurate way to track health and fitness progress. So we're seeing 2/3 of the weight loss is lean muscle mass in the patients taking these weight loss drugs, and only 1/3 is fat mass. So they're getting lighter, muscle weighs more than fat, but they're getting fatter. And healthy weight loss would be something more like I said, 25% lean muscle mass and 75% fat. Now, the loss of the muscle mass is leading to things like osteopenia, osteoporosis, and it's also causing, again, another Ozempic thing called Ozempic bones. Have you seen Ozempic bones, Dave?
No, I have not.
Well, the bones of people that are taking Ozempic actually look like Swiss cheese. A healthy bone is dense and solid. So bones that look like Swiss cheese with these people taking Ozempic, they're going to crumble. They won't be able to stand or
Yeah.
move. I mean, there's a video of a 30-year-old woman that went viral. She was diagnosed with advanced osteoporosis after only using Ozempic for a year. That is terrible. I mean, we already know how to naturally lose weight through things like our diet and exercise. So I'm telling you, you don't have to turn to these dangerous drugs. And, something that a lot of people don't know, There was a study done that showed people who are obese are missing actually a couple of crucial probiotics within their gut. L. plantarum, bifidobacterium, and people that can maintain a healthy weight range, they possess these. And having these specific strains in your gut can make all the difference between being obese or being skinny. Now, kimchi has these specific probiotic strains, and that's why recent studies show how effective eating kimchi really is.
It's very interesting that you brought up the nutrition aspect of this because I never really thought of the Ozempic affecting your nutrition, your muscle mass, your bones. And I think this is why that today and I think this is why RFK Jr. is doing this. He's making everyone go back to the natural foods, going back to things
Yep,
that already work. And kimchi is one of them. Kimchi is one of the things that has been around for a very long time. It works, and you can use this to, lose weight. So, which
exactly.
is a very good thing. So, what's the difference between kimchi and other fermented foods?
Well, kimchi is the king of fermented foods because it's got over 900 beneficial bacteria, and the other foods, like sauerkraut, maybe only has 28. So, the thing that causes our guts to be very healthy, which then transmits to our whole body, is diversity. And when you can have 900 beneficial good bacteria as opposed to 28, I think that says it all. But I wanted to say too, Dave, it's not always due to body fat that people have big bellies,
Hmm.
because a lot of people are bloated. And bloating plays a huge role in what your waistline looks like. People are just constantly being bombarded with bloating, and so they just blow up like a balloon after they eat. And kimchi has been shown to significantly reduce bloating. And that's because you then have better digestion and better regularity. Your body's working right. Your body's working better. And several studies show kimchi's remarkable ability to maintain healthy body weight. There was one specific preclinical study that showed a reduction of body fat by 31.8% when you ate kimchi every day. And this research also showed a significant reduction of the abdominal fat in women, but even more so in men. So, obesity is not just a sign of our health. It's not the totality of it. The gut microbiome, as I mentioned, plays a huge part in addressing the root cause of all of our health problems. Now, when you have disruptions in the health of your gut, it's going to trigger metabolic changes such as enhancing fat storage, causing chronic inflammation, which now leads to higher rates of heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and risk of cancer and cognitive decline like dementia and Alzheimer's. And there was another study, a groundbreaking recent study that showed that the consumption of kimchi actually helps to balance blood sugar, regulate blood pressure, and lower bad cholesterol.
So when you say disruption of your gut, are you saying like when we go out to eat and you eat those nasty seed oils, where they cook everything, is that the disruption of your gut?
Yes, that and many other things like ultra processed, I even hate to call them
Mm,
foods,
yeah,
ultra processed substances that look like
right.
food, taste like food, but aren't. Those things are disrupting our gut microbiome. They're causing the gut to have more bad bacteria, fungus overgrowth, candida, even parasites, viruses, bad bacteria. And so all this results in a problem. But kimchi versus, and back to what you were asking about before, kimchi versus other fermented foods.
Right.
Um, I hear so often from people, they'll say, well, I'm eating sauerkraut, I'm eating yogurt, so I don't need to eat kimchi because I have other fermented foods in my diet. And again, I tell them all fermented foods are good for you. Don't stop eating them, but nothing's going to compare to kimchi. Because again, the sauerkraut, as I said, only has 28 different probiotic strains, which pales in comparison to kimchi with its over 900 strains of beneficial bacteria that are going to go in and populate their gut and get rid of all the bad guys, even if you went out and had a meal out, eating out with all that crap in it. kimchi is going to repopulate much better and give you that diversity. So don't think sauerkraut doesn't have health benefits. It does. But there's a clear reason why all these studies are coming out about kimchi. They're not coming out about other fermented foods. And the strains in kimchi, such as Lactobacillus plantarum, are noted for being particularly hardy. And that means that it ensures more live bacteria actually survive the journey through the stomach acids to get into the gut to begin their neuroprotective work. Because so many probiotics, they die in that harsh, acidic environment of your stomach, and they will never reach your gut. Maybe a few will. But the advantage of kimchi is that the physical cabbage and the fiber that are contained there act as a protective vehicle for these good guys. This body armor actually shields the good bacteria during digestion and thereby ensuring a much higher percentage of the live good microbes arrive safely into your intestines where they can begin communicating with your brain. And another advantage of kimchi, Dave, is that unlike many kefirs and yogurts, which are often sweetened, traditional kimchi provides its benefits in a savory, low calorie package that typically does not cause the blood sugar spikes that can negatively impact cognitive function. And sugar feeds the bad guys.
Hmm.
So why would you want to take something that's got extra sugar in it to feed the bad guys when you're trying to put good guys there?
True. How long has kimchi been around? Not your company, but just
Over
kimchi.
2 centuries.
Right. So you compare that to Ozempic or any other drug, you're getting something that's been proven for a very, very long time. And the side effects, you're not going to get, the big head, the sunken in eyes, or any of that stuff.
No, you actually get beautiful skin, hair grows back, you get a healthy gut, you get all these great health benefits, healthy heart, healthy blood sugar, all these things. You don't have a black box on kimchi like you do on drugs. In our core philosophy, I named the company Brightcore because it really builds our core, the gut. It's all about the healthy gut. And our philosophy is that our appearance is a reflection of our inner health. And
Mm.
if we want to fix issues that appear on the surface of our skin or like obesity, we have to start at the root cause.
So if people wanted to try it and people wanted to take it for the first time, do you have any special offers for the viewers?
Well, first I want to say that in all of the research that I did,
Okay.
people were eating kimchi every single day. And the key to getting all the benefits from kimchi is eating it daily, consuming it daily. But it's not something that's easy to eat every day, Dave. And that is why we went ahead and we created something called Kimchi One. Now, what is Kimchi One? Kimchi One, we've taken and used a cold process drying method to retain all the fiber and nutrition of actual fermented kimchi. Now we put it in a convenient capsule for daily use. Americans are used to taking capsules.
Hmm.
And for people that are on low sodium diets, this virtually has no sodium, unlike store-bought kimchi, 100% made in the USA, non-GMO, all natural. And the other thing I wanted to share too is so many people are calling us or writing us and within weeks of taking Kimchi One and saying that they are seeing miraculous results. Now, we all know there's no magic pill, but this is pretty close to it. I mean, people that had severe problems with digestion and bloating, the bloating's down. They're finally regular. People who had problems with their immune system and they used to get sick all the time, guess what? They're not getting sick anymore. People who experience chronic fatigue, they finally have energy again. And we know tremendous amount of people had chronic fatigue after what happened in 2020. People with diabetes who are struggling with their blood sugar, their blood pressure, and their weight, they are experiencing dramatic changes. So, that said, let me tell you the special offer for your viewers, Dave.
Okay.
They can get 25% off today with their order of kimchi one by clicking the link below and using code X22. Or you can get up to 50% off your order plus free shipping when you call 888-959-5248. And the first 100 callers are going to get a free bottle of our Revive capsules with their order. Now, Revive contains 5 types of collagen, hyaluronic acid, biotin, and vitamin C to reduce wrinkles, help you grow thicker, healthier hair, and even support stronger bones and joints. Now, remember, you can only get those best discounts and that free bottle of Revive capsules when you call this number. That number again is 888-959-5248.
Well, that's fantastic. And thank you for that. I'm going to put the link at the bottom of the video and the phone number at the bottom of the video to make it easier for people to go right over. And Kim, thank you very much for helping America stay healthy again. I really appreciate you coming on the X22 Report Spotlight. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dave, for having me. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.